Hello again. Welcome back to the Movie Buff Reactions channel. Today we're doing another Unusual Suspect reaction. And it seems like Ross, John Fernley, is continuing his new thing of experimenting with different types of videos covering a whole variety of different subjects, from obscure little films to lists to backstories on movies that had troubled productions, and now this one is very interesting. He's doing a video called "The Vatican Spent Charity Money on Real Estate and Movies," which never would have expected him to do a video on that, but at the same time, the subject's not that surprising, because we've all heard for years about the Vatican's dirty money dealings, and their various covers-up of child rape, but that's a video for a different time. Unless Victor Salva directed one of the movies. If you're a big enough movie buff, you'll get that joke. And may or may not be appropriate, but I figure for this, good time to wear my Santa Christ t-shirt. And, as I said, Ross has been branching out to all different types of videos and subject matter, so I am very interested and curious. Like, there was one comment when he announced that this would be his new video that said, "Color me intrigued," and if they hadn't said it, I would have said it myself, because I'm interested to see what these movies are. And without further rambling, let's watch.
Yep, it's true. The Vatican used donated charity money to fund real estate purchases and Hollywood movie productions. Now, okay, a lot of you are probably very confused right now, so allow me to explain. And for that, we've got to rewind back to 8th century England. Bear with me, because I'm sure a lot of you are intrigued by the Hollywood side of things, but trust me, there's a lot more to this story than just that.
Well, of course.
You, my dear viewers, for Reverend Suspect has a tale to tell. So, Christianity is the world's largest religion, and Catholicism is its biggest branch, with over 1 billion practitioners worldwide. And when Catholics read the Holy Bible, they might come across a verse such as, "Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your produce. Then your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will be bursting with wine." Fuck me, I better give some money. So Catholics began donating to the church.
I don't have that.
Formalized back in 8th century England with a practice called P.P.S, which is still done to this day. At the end of every June, Catholics open their wallets and they donate what they can to the Holy See.
Simpsons.
This is a 20.
Yeah. Then the Vatican takes this money and proceeds to use it for philanthropic purposes, helping out those suffering from the horrors of war, disease, and natural disasters.
Or so we
This
think.
guy, however, clearly didn't get the memo. Yeah, so this is Giovanni Angelo Becciu, and in 2018, the Pope himself anointed him a cardinal. Proper position. These are the guys who decide who the next Pope's going to be. And Becciu himself was seen as a hot contender for the role. And whilst he didn't draw the black egg, kudos if you got that reference, Becciu was still made head of the Congregation for the Causes of Saints. Basically, he was the guy in charge of deciding who becomes a saint or not. But considering in Catholicism,
Perfect.
over
Perfect.
10,000 recognized saints, yeah, I wouldn't say his job required that much thought. I mean, there's a patron saint for facial hair, for fuck's sake. Yeah, and it's a woman as well. So this duty likely didn't concern Becciu all that much, or instead, he was much more interested in investing. Yeah, so this was quite a surprise to me, but with the Holy See, they don't just take the money made from Peter's pence and give it to charity. No. Very often, they invest those donations in things like real estate, bonds, and stocks. Remember, Vatican City is a country, and because it's literally the smallest one in the world, with only 800 or so residents and zero tax income, it has to make money somehow. And museum admission fees and souvenirs sold at the gift shops can only go so far. I doubt there's that much money to be made from fridge magnets with the Pope's face on it. So the Holy See rectifies this by having its own economic office. And Becciu was one of the guys who helped run this department by gobbling up as many high-value assets as he could. And when it comes to real estate, The Vatican makes Donald Trump look lightweight. They own over 5,000 properties worldwide, from churches to palaces to schools to hospitals to an observatory in Arizona. Wait, what? Galileo's sat in heaven right now going, yo, what the fuck? However,
Never knew that.
The financials of the Vatican are, for the most part, shrouded in mystery. Again, they're their own country. They don't have to report to anyone. But considering that most of their money comes from donations, yeah, country or no, what they do with that money should be made completely transparent, if you ask me. And because of the secrecy afforded to the Vatican, they've been a little naughty when it comes to their financial dealings.
Naughty, you
bank
say?
Certainly helps in this regard. The Istituto per l'Opere di Religione, or IOR, is the bank of the Vatican. And if you're thinking, come on, surely the Bank of God himself can't be that bad. Well, I thought that too, until I found out about the dealings they had with this guy. Yet, in 1933, the Goose Steppers themselves signed a treaty with the Vatican called the Rights Concordat, which basically amounted to, okay, Pope Pius, you can run Catholic churches in Germany, so as long as you don't oppose us when we start committing unspeakable atrocities. Oh, I don't know. How does $1.7 billion a year sound?
Everyone has a price.
Every year, the Vatican received a Kirchensteuer, or church tax, from the Führer, and in 1943 alone, this tax amounted to the equivalent of $1.7 billion in today's money. And Mussolini, the fascist dictator of Italy at the time, he did a similar thing. In return for people recognition,
obviously.
He handed the Vatican
He always
over
copied
$1
Hitler.
billion as well. I mean, World War II was a horrible era of human history. But the Vatican were doing alright. So it's no wonder they were able to amass a behemoth of a property portfolio. And given how the market evolved in the following years, and how property values have skyrocketed, yeah, the Vatican these days is loaded. Woohoo! And post-World War II, it didn't get much better, as the Vatican have been accused of embezzling and money laundering time and time again.
Along with other
Brings
stuff.
us back to Benchu. We're almost there with the Hollywood thing. Now, Benchu was in cahoots with this guy. Hey, it's Enrico Palazzo! Crasso!
Naked
Enrico
gun.
and the Vatican go way back. He's been a financial advisor for them for years, and he owns his own collective investment scheme in Malta called the Centurion Global Fund. And who helps fund this fund? Well, none other than the Pope and his cardinal crew, of course. Yep, Crasso convinced Benchu to invest big time in the Centurion Global Fund. But here's the thing. This fund had known links to two Swiss banks implicated in bribery and money laundering scandals, including a $1 billion laundering case involving the Venezuelan oil company, PDVSA, and Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro. And if you know anything about Venezuela, you'll know that being associated with this guy is bad news. Because despite being...
I heard a little about him. Can't remember the top of my head.
The biggest oil reserves in the world, their economy has gone to shit. By all accounts, they should be the richest country on the planet. And yet look at all the notes of cash it takes for them to buy a single roll of toilet paper. That's the level of corruption we're talking about here. This man
It's COVID pandemic worthy.
Venezuelans would be better off foregoing the purchase of bog roll and instead wiping their asses with the banknotes instead. So despite being sketchy as fuck, Benchu contributed 70 million euros of donated Vatican money to the fund. And then this money was used to invest in a whole bunch of crap. From companies selling toys, to bottled water, to designer eyewear. It's what Jesus would have wanted.
Oh, I think we saw a Hedwig there.
In the productions of 2 Hollywood movies.
Yeah, what were they?
Eventually, to those still watching, thank you. And if you're wondering what movies they were, no, it's not Passion of the Christ, or Da Vinci Code, or The Two Popes, or anything like that. The 2 movies that the Vatican funded, with money that came from donations, remember, was Men in Black International and the Elton John biopic, Rocketman. Wait. Let me get this straight. The Catholic Church, an entity notorious for its opposition to gay marriage, funded a movie about arguably the biggest gay icon of all time?
Do you not see the hypocrisy?
I didn't see that coming at all.
About this himself. He took to Twitter and said, "How can the Vatican refuse to bless gay marriages because they are sin, yet happily make a profit from investing millions in Rocketman, a film which celebrates my finding happiness from my marriage to David?"
He's got a
Same way the
Yeah, we're not
mafia
gonna let you guys
funded the
marry,
gay
but,
nightclubs in the
back to the
70s and
money
80s,
suckers.
but hated gays
It's
in
crazy.
their
Rocketman
own
was
lives.
even banned in several countries due to its depictions of homosexuality, one of which was Samoa, which is notable because that's a predominantly Christian nation. So a movie that ended up getting funded by Christians also ended up getting banned by Christians. Truly, we live in the dumbest dimension. Now, to the Vatican's credit, Rocketman and MIB International were actually wise investments. I mean, they were hardly runaway successes, and International was critically panned, but they did turn a profit.
But it's Men in Black,
Crazy
so
to me
people
that
pay to
some
see it.
random Catholic in the USA gave 20 bucks to the church thinking it would go to some charity, but then the money was actually used to fund a movie about space aliens. I mean, I would expect
Chris
that
Hemsworth
from
fucking a
Scientologists,
space
not
alien.
so much Catholics. But trust me, the funding of these two movies was the least controversial of Bethu's dealings. Rocketman and Men in Black International were the exceptions, because they actually ended up making money. But overall, in 2018, the Centurion Global Fund posted a loss of 4.6%. Remember, this is money donated from the goodwill of Catholics, and they lost it. Look, you could say that investing donation money is a wise decision, but not always. And I don't know if I agree with this. Investing, you could argue, is kind of like gambling. And sure,
Well, yeah.
it'll pay off sometimes, but when you lose, it's okay if it's your own money. But if it's money that would have otherwise gone to a charity, what do you guys think?
You might want to take the Grizzly producer around and get the fuck out loud.
The incurred risk of assets falling in value make it an immoral thing to do. Let me know in the comments. And if you're unsure about this topic, maybe take this next story into account, because you've heard nothing yet. Remember when I said how one of the investments Bethu made was in real estate? Well, one particular investment he made got him into a lot of bother. Remember Enrico Crasso, the guy who owns the Centurion Global Fund? Well, he introduced the Vatican to this man, Raffaele Mincione, and this dude owned some prime real estate in Chelsea.
I'm learning
a
shit I never
very
thought I'd know.
area in London. Richard Branson owns a property here. That tells you everything you need to know. Now, this building that Mincione owned was a former Harrods, a luxury department store chain here in the UK, and the Vatican wanted to buy the building and then convert it into a bunch of luxury apartments. And I've got to admit, if you own real estate in Chelsea, that's going to be some juicy income. So, Bethu took a 45% stake in the building. However, this was before Bethu got the deciding who should become saints job. Back then, he was in charge of more financial dealings. And come June 2018, he wasn't anymore. So the Vatican opted to pull out of their partnership with Mincione and decided to just buy the building outright. But that would take some doing. Mincione was sitting on gold here. He wasn't going to give it up without a fight. So the Vatican
would?
needed a negotiator. So up to bat comes Gianluigi Torzi, pictured here
Of course he's
as the big
fat.
man himself. Now this guy knows his stuff. He's a financial markets expert with offices in 5 different continents, and he has expertise in trading difficult to sell assets. So he seemed like the right man for the job. So the Vatican hires him to buy the building for them. But Torzi, he had other plans. You see, he ended up buying the building alright, but he structured the deal in such a way so that his Luxembourg-based holding company would take ownership of the building instead. You see, the Vatican got 30,000 of the 31,000 shares out of Torzi's deal. So you might be like, well, the Vatican have the majority of the shares. That means they own it, right? Nope. For those shares the Vatican received were non-voting shares. The remaining 1,000 shares, however, were. And those went to Torzi, which in turn left him in total control of the company, and therefore the building.
The Ferengi would be proud.
And then Torzi turned around to the Holy See and said, "Oh, You want these shares? You want these shares? Cough it up, Francis. And so the Vatican, already knee deep in this shit, gave up and was like, alright, you win. So they gave Tozzi the money, and it's reported that the Holy See, all in all, paid 350 million euros for this one building. And to make it even worse, once the Vatican owned the building, they decided to then sell it at a loss of 100 million euros.
What the fuck are you doing?
That's well over
I don't know.
$100 million of donation money down the fucking drain. And if you're wondering, how the hell did Tozzi get away with this? Well, he didn't. He got arrested in 2020.
Don't drop the soap, big homie.
However, this gets worse, because after just 10 days in jail, he got out on a €3 million euro bail. And it doesn't take a genius to guess what happened next. Okay, you're free to go, but you still gotta stand trial, so don't go anywhere. Oh, I won't.
Did take the grisly producer route.
He's coming back. Yep, he bailed and fled back to the UK. And it gets worse still. Because the
Oh, this is
€3
great.
million euros Tozzi promised for the bail, the Vatican never received it. Yeah, Tozzi instructed his Swiss bank to authorize a transfer of the money. But it turns out the accounts Tozzi identified for the transfer were accounts registered under the names of a shell company and proxy individuals. So the transfers were denied. And by the time the Vatican realized this, Tozzi was long gone.
Edward L. Montoro gone.
But then, while in London, he
That's the
eventually
grisly
got
producer.
arrested again a year later, but then got out on bail again. And just this year, he got arrested again in Dubai. And where the hell actually served jail time this time around?
I got nothing.
No.
This guy's either really lucky or really
Several other Vatican
unlucky.
officials were in deep trouble. So he got taken to court, and over the next 2.5 years, he attended 86 different hearings. Sweet, buttery Jesus on a stick. Even if I was innocent, by that point I'd be like, just throw me in jail. Now, the reason why there were so many hearings is because this whole London property deal wasn't the only thing Becci was in trouble for. Something
Well,
else he was guilty
of course.
was
I
nepotism.
can't keep repeating it, but what else can I say?
125,000 euros of Vatican money and gave it to charity. Well, that was nice of him. It was his brother's charity. Oh, I can see where this is going. And get this, his brother's charity, called Spes, had their records seized by police. And they found delivery receipts for nearly 20 tons of bread, which apparently went out to the poor. But the thing about these receipts is that they were forged. Nobody recognized the signatures on these documents, with Italian financial police concluding that they were created just a few weeks prior to give the illusion they were more charitable than they actually were. And why stop there? Let's embezzle even more donation money. Because in 2017,
Why stop
Becci
while
had
you're
an
ahead?
insurmountable task in his hands when a Colombian nun was kidnapped in Mali. And in order to secure her freedom, the Pope himself agreed to pay a ransom. Now, thankfully, the nun got released. She's all A-okay. But the controversy here surrounds how she got released. Because we don't know exactly. You see, Becci was given 600,000 euros for this task, and he gave the money to this lady, Cecilia Morogna, who may or may not be Becci's secret lover. We don't quite know. But that's what Italian media
I wouldn't
was
be
suspecting.
surprised.
Anyway, it was her job to use this money to secure the nun's release. But 3 freaking years went by, and the nun was still in captivity. And once she was finally released, it was thanks to a joint effort of Colombia and Mali's governments and the Italian Foreign Ministry. And not once did these guys ever cite Morogna for her help. So what the hell was she doing all this time? Well, the
Getting
600,000
pedicures.
euros were wired to her Slovenian holding company. And when her
That too.
bank records were given a look, what transactions were listed? Prada, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, oh no.
Ugh.
Yep, it's alleged that Maronia took donations
All the stereotypes coming to life.
save the life of a kidnapped nun, and she instead used it to purchase luxury furniture, shoes, handbags, and perfume. According to Italian press, she spent 12,000 euros on a luxurious leather armchair, 2,200 euros on Prada shoes and handbags, 1,400 euros on expensive Todd shoes, and 8,000 euros on Chanel perfume. 8,000 euros on perfume. Did you have a bath in it? So these guys had a lot to answer for,
drink it?
and after hearing
Use it for
after hearing,
lubricant?
Becciu and several other Vatican officials got handed jail sentences. Becciu got 5.5 years, Enrico
Of
Grassi
course that's
got
it.
7, Raffaele Mincione got 5 years and 6 months, Cecilia Maronia got 3 years and 9 months, and Gianluigi Tozzi has been sentenced to 6 years. Though I haven't been able to find out if he's actually serving them yet. Knowing him, he's probably out on bail again, chilling on a yacht in Monaco. So let this be a lesson, Hollywood. For the love of God, do not ask the Vatican to invest in your movies. When Catholics drop a few bucks in the donation box, they're gonna think that money's going to a good cause, not to funding a shitty Men in Black sequel and bailing out the Pope for his crappy investment decisions. God help us all. Hey guys, thanks for watching, and if you're seeing this, that must mean you are a patron. I know this video is a bit different than usual, I hope you guys liked it. Originally it was going to be just about the Hollywood thing, about Rocketman and Men in Black International, but then I unearthed so much more.
Can't help where the passion takes you.
And I just had to talk about it. Hope you guys liked it, I'd love to hear your feedback, whether that be positive or negative. Rest assured the next video will be more movie focused. And allow me to thank my top tier patrons by name, and their names are Aidan Redmond, Ryan Massey, Mark Tonner, Gregorio Vasquez, Matthew Tangeman, Dr. Ten, Max Stahl, Goldspro TSG, Ewan Hurst, Joshua Bowden, Jacob Matthew Crawford, Christian Lischke, and Stefanos Ujaputra. Grazie, grazie, grazie. Thank you all so much. Till next time, guys. Ciao.
That was very different than what he usually does, and I can say I enjoyed it very much. It was fascinating, not as much jokes as what he usually does, but it was different, and I think it came out very well. Ross did an extremely good job tackling this story, and yeah, there was a lot on the real estate business ventures and schemes by this guy, and I can't remember his name at the moment, and I just watched it, but foreign names are hard for me to roll off the tip of my tongue. But yeah, just so much bullshit. I mean, I know the Vatican, the Catholic Church, has been caught up in so much fucking shit over the years, but I did not know half of this stuff. Like, yeah, this is appropriate. Holy shit! Like, if all the movies they could have invested in, I never would have expected Men in Black International, and I really never would have expected Rocketman. I mean, it's like, I hate these fucking faggots, but if they can make money, I'll make the exception. Like, as I said, the Mafia, with the nightclubs, it's kind of similar in a way. And the story of the kidnapped nun and the woman who blew all of the, like, or I don't know if he said all, but so much of the money on fucking fashion and furniture. I'm just like, God damn, bitch! What the hell? Just that was a crazy video. A little more subdued. Like, it was hard to make jokes, cracks, or there weren't a lot of laugh out loud moments, but it was just like fascinating. And watching stuff like this makes me think Ross John Fernley could be a pretty good documentarian. Like, he could make good documentaries at least, and I would watch them. Like, these videos in a way kind of feel like mini documentaries, and wish I had a ton more to say, but I'm a movie guy. I'm not a religious expert, even though I've seen a bunch of religious movies and I do my fair share here and there, but all I'll say is I aspire to the George Carlin philosophy of religion is bullshit.
You know who I pray to? Joe Pesci. He looks like a guy who can get things done. Joe Pesci doesn't fuck around.
That's about it. Hope you enjoyed this reaction. Again, I wish I had a ton more to say, but as always, it's late, it's hot. I've had to dodge a possible catch of the COVID, which thankfully I did, and got a bunch of projects on my plate, so stay tuned for those, and I will see you again hopefully soon.